Pashaparo, YN7, thank you for tuning. Got Trish with us today. Trish, say hi to people.
Hello, everyone.
So we were talking and rose the question of authentic and its effect on the people. My question to you, because I think too many people are actually confusing the word authentic with the word genuine. So let's start with, what do you think? What is authentic to you?
That's really interesting. I would agree with the genuine part, but more than anything, to honor where you're at in any moment without judgment, or the shoulds or the shouldn'ts, to just be where you are and be okay with it.
Okay.
Like if someone says, "How are you doing?" Well, to be honest, not so much. And that would be being authentic. But we have a judgment where I should say this because, I don't want to bum them out, or, caring about what they think rather than just being okay with yourself.
I'm glad you shared it and was able to articulate it in such fashion, because what you described there in the second part, right? When you said, hey, being worried about what others think, right? That actually is authentic. That
Yes.
that is the authentic. That is the construct. That is the value. That is the gravity. That is the magnetism of the word authentic. I'm going to show you why. So the word authentic, when we look at it, the etymology, it means authoritative. Authoritative.
Oh,
So what we know, we covered already about the word authority, is that authority is never the flesh, the blood, the man, the person, the woman, the whatever. It's the book or the quote that settles the question. It's the code. It's the guidelines that person, physically, flesh, may have memorized and can regurgitate to you or describe for you. But authority is the book or the quote that settles the question. So if authentic is authoritative, then that means that authentic is going by the book, going by the code, making sure you're concerned with what others think about you. Whereas if we look at the word genuine, one second here, genuine is natural. What do you think about that?
yeah, natural. To be natural, to be who you are with total self-acceptance,
Right. Going to be genuine.
to be genuine. So they are closely tied together. I do get the differentiation, but they are connected. But I just see so many people talk about, they see the word be authentic, but they don't talk about what it looks like. What does that look like in our daily living? What is it to be authentic? To be true to yourself. So that, and be honest with yourself as well, so that you can be honest with others. That's why people are always like looking for honesty from others, but it really starts with yourself. If you're honest with yourself and true to yourself and authentic with yourself, you don't have to worry about anybody else. You're good. If that makes any sense,
Absolutely.
you're not attached to needing anything from anybody to be where you're at or not be where you're at or whatever. You don't have an attachment happening. It's sovereign. You're being sovereign.
I accept that everything that you're describing is that is that embodied what you're trying to capture into that description. is freedom, free to be you, right?
Yes.
What I'm showcasing and what I like this conversation is because a lot of people think this, right? Is that
Yeah.
that's not authentic. What you're describing is genuine. But here's what happens when we use the word authentic. This is the sorcery, the magic of not knowing the value of the energy you're putting out. So when you use the word authentic, it is all of those. When you said want to be this, but dot 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 dot, everything that came after the dot 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 the but, like don't want to have to worry about what other people think, don't want to all the don't want to. That is actually the description of authentic. So when we focus on wanting authenticity or wanting to be authentic, we are focusing on normative social influence, being conformed, everything that I know you stand against by nature is the definition of authentic. So it's a trap.
Hmm.
Like, for example, let me ask you this question. An authentic person, they say would rather hear about you than themselves, right? So that's true regardless of if you're genuine or not. Because the authentic person could be using that to capture information about you to do whatever, right? It appears they want to hear about you more than they hear about themselves, versus a genuine person actually would. So the under authentic focus, you're blind to intent.
Interesting. When you say authentic has the element of authority, so then you're of your own authority. You're your own authority,
When you're
not
genuine.
when you're, yes. So I just want clarity because, I just see so many people using that word and they're not really demonstrating that they understand what it means.
Which one? Which word?
Authenticity, and that they
Yes.
understand what it is to be authentic and the importance of it, why it's important. I put here's my just humble 2 cents. I put my own post yesterday to honor your boundaries is to be authentic, to be of your own authority, be true to yourself and saying, this is the boundary for me, regardless if you like it or not. I'm not comfortable with this and it's not going to work. I can't be in this situation if, if you're not treating me right, then I have to put up the boundary that, like, you either have to change your behavior or I'm going to leave. That's being authentic with yourself. And then verbalizing that to the person that's crossed your boundary. What do you think of that?
I think you're describing what it is to be genuine, but you're putting the word authentic on it. Because
Ah,
because
hmm,
authentic, and it's because here's the difference. When I said authentic, you're blind of the intent. It's because authentic is the process. Um, you've done things step one, step two, then do this, then do that. Everybody has at least looked at some instructions. We may toss them to the side and go put it together ourselves with a screwdriver and come back later and check. But we've all opened the box that had some instructions that were at least there, right? So authentic is the instruction manual. Okay. If you want to appear to engage in someone emotionally like this, then do step one, do this, then do that, then do this. Right. A genuine person may do that genuinely, right? But authentic is just following the book or the quote of steps and how to achieve something. See, authentic
hmm.
is not the feeling, it's not the character, it's the process, it's the manual.
Can you give me
Genuine,
an example? Can can you, like, give me a scenario that demonstrates
sure.
what
Age
that
old
looks like?
question. The
Okay.
difference would be in a question of like, are you free to be yourselves? right? Be themselves. People, are they free to be themselves? Being authentic, you're not free to be yourself because you have to refer to the authority that dictates who you're supposed to be, the claim. That's like in our conversation with titles and possessions and all that stuff. When you have to clock in at work, you're not being genuine, you're being authentic while you're there. You see what I'm saying? Like when you said you can't be there at that spot. Okay, well, if you genuinely couldn't be there, would it matter how much someone paid you to stay? That's the difference between being authentic. Authentic is just the process. And because you're authentic, you can say, well, I can't deal with it for this price. But if you give me 3 times as much, I'll be here tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? That's authentic. You're being authentic there. But you're still
Maybe we
not
need
being
to,
genuine.
like, yeah, because I look at it like, I don't know, I've always looked at authenticity. To be authentic is to be what you say you are, to be true to yourself,
Got you.
to, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know, so maybe whatever the word is, I'm not as interested in like I don't have an attachment to the word or any word. I just want a better world. I want a world where people are genuine. They can be themselves without worrying about what anyone thinks. And like you said, be free. That's what I'm after in having this conversation. That's my objective.
Trish, that's what we're all after. And the magic and the sorcery factor is in the wordplay. So I
Yeah.
think most people are after that very feeling. But when you ask for authenticity, we're going to attract authenticity. The problem is we got to know what we're asking for, like the monkey's paw.
Okay. And this goes back to titles and the devil's in the details.
Yes.
Because if you're throwing a word around, I'm going to give it, I won't get too off the beaten path here, but the word
Go there.
narcissist, I hear people say narcissist. No, it's not a person. It's a behavior.
Yes.
And so the title gets people using it, thinking they're all talking about the same thing, and they're not.
Right.
What is a narcissist? Not a person. What's the important part in saying the word? What the person is doing, the behavior, the actions that they're taking, or the inactions that they're taking is what's important. And so that's why even the word authenticity, now that we're talking, it's getting me thinking about that. It's nondescript. And when there is a word on the table that's nondescript, you can bet there's shenanigans. People will misuse it. There's that word again. They'll misuse it, and it doesn't apply where it doesn't apply because it's non-descriptive. I like genuine because it's a little bit more descriptive. Right. It gives you a little bit more idea of what genuine looks like in a person or a situation.
Right.
So yes, and I think that's the direction I'm going to be moving in more and more. I see people saying blanket statements and things like this, and they're trying to be real and everything, but it's like, what does that mean? Give me, they'll say vibe high. What is that? Vibe high.
It's all gaslighting. That's what it is.
Looking like they're talking, and it's not really. If it's not showing you clear and decisive behaviors, if it's not demonstrating a behavior and the action steps, then it's dangerous. It causes confusion.
Yes.
But
it puts you at war with yourself.
Yes. Yeah. And well, it confuses people, well, I think it's a form of subterfuge too. I think it's done deliberately with people that are aware of this.
Yes. Quite possible.
True. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Trish, let me drop this in there for you, because what I noticed in what you were saying was you refer back to the video we did, and you were talking about behaviors, right? So think of it this way. I used the word earlier in the description. I call it a process. I said authentic is the process. So substitute the word process with the word behavior to help it all make sense and tie it all together. And then they can go back and check the other video we did and get the full view. Because being authentic is the behavior. You can clone a behavior and be evil. Good people use the same behavior as bad people. It's just what is their intention. So authentic is the behavior. Genuine would be the actual human intent or characteristic.
Because to be genuine is an element of intention.
It's the nature. So
it's the nature of the intention, right?
Right. Yeah. So are you evil? If you're evil, you can be genuine because you're just genuinely pure evil, and you can be good. And then you're going to use these authenticities to pass the gates, right? When you look at data, networks, we're talking about networks and systems here recently on YNet 7. When you go through an encrypted file or an encryption process, you have to pass authenticity, right? The code has to be authenticated.
I was just going to say that authenticate, to authenticate. Oh,
so you have to appear.
Right.
You have to appear to be
who you are.
A match. Appear.
Appear. Right.
And that's the same thing we learned in the Trojan horse story.
Huh. Okay.
That's the misuse of authentic. So now once we get that, you can see the huge marketing campaign pumping everything authentic. Like you said, oh, vibe high. Well, how do you authenticate that? Whose perspective? Your version, my version, the person around the corner, what they think that means? You, like you said, you can't qualify the statement. Now tell me where you're at mentally from where we started an hour ago.
Well, right off, just on the vibe thing, I feel like I should clarify this. Like, you know, when you go to a social gathering, anywhere where there's one person or more, and you get a bad vibe, you get bad mojo. What is that? Someone is up to something.
Could be.
There's some kind of intention that isn't good, or you know, like you're feeling this vibe that this person doesn't like you or might be up to something. I think it's tied to our intuition. You'll get an intuitive feeling. That's what a vibe is to me. And to me, to vibrate high, people think it's positivity. No, it's just be genuine, be real, be true to yourself so you can be true to others. You can be truthful with yourself so you can be truthful to others. That's how you put your vibe out there. Well, it's how a vibe is. A vibe is tied to intention, and so like if you don't have a good intention, people are going to pick up on your vibe. They're going to go, I'm picking up a funky vibe, and it maybe isn't so good. What do you think about that?
I think you brought up a good point, and thanks for sharing that, and that's a great question. I feel like when you said that, like when there's a bad vibe, right? You feel a bad vibe. That in itself is under the same standards. What is a bad vibe? Is it really bad? Are you really feeling an ominous signal? Or is it just that you're sensing the presence of a frequency that's not the same as yours, right? So think musically, okay? We got a scale of frequencies. When you're in certain pockets of those frequencies together, they're harmonic. They sound great together, right? And you're like, so it's soothing. But if I move over here a little bit, now they're out of phase, out of sync, and they clash with each other. It sounds terrible or bad or cringeworthy, right? So that's the same thing with vibes in life. It may feel bad, but it doesn't mean that you're actually sensing a bad vibe. It could just be a vibe at a different level that's just at the right precise, point in difference to cause some distortion or fluttering or vibration in our receptors when we pick it up. So we sense the distortion, which we're labeling as bad.
Maybe it's just like not a good match. You're just not vibing
Yeah.
at the same.
So it's what you said, but it's not always like evil. Go ahead. What do you think about that?
I guess what I'm trying to say is whatever your vibe is, I
Mm-hmm.
think is tied to intention.
I agree.
I think it's tied to intention. I think you're there's just something going on with you that, like, if you're not in a good space, let's see, you're going to a gathering and you're not a good space, you got stuff going on with yourself, your vibe will reflect that. The vibe is a reflection of that. So, and people will pick up on, wow, this person seems moody, their vibe is moody or funky or so I'm just trying to clarify because people say vibe high, and I'm just like, what is that? What do you mean? Because it gets twisted when people say, well, you just have to be positive to vibe high. No, you don't. That ain't true. I don't agree with that. I don't think just telling yourself to be positive is necessarily positive. If you're not really feeling positive and you go out there trying to act like you are, people will see through it. They will feel that you're in authenticity, or you're not being genuine. You're not being real. You're pretending, pretense.
I
And
can't.
people pick up on that. They pick up on, you know, they can kind of tell if you're being phony.
If that was true, there wouldn't be so many scammers successful. It's true. Hold on. Let me clarify my statement. It's true, but it's not it's not all that's in existence. So you can, what they're all right. If somebody talks to Trish, put it like this, I got a perfect idea. Nowadays we're in a digital world. Somebody takes a picture with you, they can show a picture. Oh, look, I know Trish. How now, first of all, somebody saying they know Trish, does the person stop and say, well, how well do you know her? They only met you one time, took a picture with you. They talking to somebody else now, but they got a picture with you. Like, oh yeah, Trish, that's my da da da. They run it. That person now feels like, oh, they know Trish. They 20 years, they don't know each other, right? All of a sudden, off of one picture. So a story, now that person starts to tell them something about you.
Right.
That's authenticity. But is it genuine? Now what happens is the authenticity about you gets passed along. Oh yeah, this person, my friend showed me a picture with her and Trish, and she said blah 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 blah. Now the authenticity spreads, but none of it's genuine. You see what I'm saying? That's the
Yes, I
danger.
love that. I think that's really
The other
I
side,
guess,
one last thing,
yeah.
one last thing.
So go ahead.
No, you good. This is great conversation. The other side is just think about the video we did on projection. The person that's observing is not authentic, so they're projecting the inauthenticity on Trish now. So see how that go ahead. Now let your brain run on that one. Let me hear.
Well, what I just right off the cuff, like what I sort of see is, you mentioned charlatans. I call them people with the shenanigans, and they're not being. They're trying to run a game on you. Here's the thing, though. I feel strongly, this is just me, that everybody has intuitive abilities to intuit whether someone is playing a game or not. Whether they're willing to be honest with themselves is the next step. I feel we always get red flags. We always get a vibe or some kind of intuitive ping, something right about this person. I don't know if we can really be fooled. I think the fooling actually comes from ourselves. When we're being true and we honor our intuition at all times, no one can fool us. I see so many people say, I want someone that's loyal. Nope, loyalty has to come from yourself. Then you're good. What is that to be loyal? When someone is behaving, but you really like them, you think they're hot, and you just, you know, physically are attracted to them. People will go, oh, he's not that bad. When you find yourself doing that, you're not listening to your intuition. If your first initial feeling or vibe is, I don't know about this person, bing, that's right. Usually, almost always. So when you listen to your intuition and you're true to yourself, you don't have to worry about someone being loyal, because you got your own back. You're watching your own red flags. You're going, no, I have to be honest with myself. There's something off about this person. And then you say, thanks, but no thanks. What do you think of that?
I think that's true. And we done covered, I covered here the gateway experience, the out of body stuff, the aurora, the magnetic fields, all kinds of stuff. We talk about energy. Everything on this channel is an energy reading. So I totally agree with you. It's just a matter of how sharp is the user with their skills. Like,
Yeah.
some of the best come ups is when, Art of War, 48 Laws of Power, whatever it is, play a fool, catch a fool. So when someone's trying to nip you and you're ahead and you feel it and you're like, oh, okay, how do I maneuver this into actually working to my advantage? While they think they're manipulating me, they're actually working for me. You know what I'm saying? To the advantage, because you felt it. But so there's
But
extreme,
you
there's
honored what you were feeling, and you honored it and owned it and said it. Yeah, no, there's something off about this. You know what I mean? But when you don't, you get burned. When you
well,
don't listen to your intuition, you will get burned. Are they
what,
fooling you, or are you fooling yourself? Um, you know,
so what I'm saying is, with everything, because I'm equation based, it's an infinity. So there's you get burned, and there's you caught it ahead of time, and there's everything in between. So when we have, because what happens is there's people that's gonna view this at different places in their lives, right, with different skill levels. So if for the people that don't realize they can do this, I'm encouraging them to start exercising that muscle to tap into it, to be able to do it. And you know what I mean?
this is
Right.
why it is so important, people that are watching this, to honor your feelings. If you get a feeling, any kind of feeling that's like a, wait, I'm feeling something's off, I'm feeling weird, listen to it. It's real. That's part of our being. It's our intuition is connected to our central nervous system for a reason. It's like on a cellular level, your body knows something ain't right about this situation. That I may be taking us off
Nah,
course here. I'm sorry. Just keep
it's right in
coming along.
line. It's right in line with the course, because we're talking about how something can pass authentication. Look, we know the words, but we can't say it. So authenticity, check, we'll put like that, right? But not be genuine.
I love that. I'm really gonna, that's powerful. But thank you for that, Pasha. I hadn't thought
And
about it like that.
here's the other damaging. There's so many things we could go with this. So no, you're right in line. And here's what I want to say. Like, genuine people, what you're saying is a genuine person. I'm gonna put the word genuine in. We got about 7 minutes left. I want to hear what you guys say about this. So I want to put the word genuine. Genuine people don't wear their emotions on their sleeves. I'm gonna use the word genuine, whereas an hour ago you would have said authentic people, right? I get that. So let's not debate that part. Genuine
Okay.
people don't wear their emotions on their sleeves, but authentic people would have to, because they have to maintain the status quo of what that rule book, code book say they should do, say, or feel.
I keep hearing that word authenticate.
Right.
That keeps coming to me. Like, I just got a job and they wanted me to come back, and they want me to come when they're not home. So they asked me to, they didn't say, use the word authenticate my identity. Can I see your driver's license so we can authenticate you are who you in fact say you are?
Corbin Dallas multipass.
Yes, and so I was happy to do that. I was sure, I can authenticate I am who I say I am. Here's my driver's license. There you go. I authenticated myself to them. Is that what you're talking about? Is that a good?
Exactly. And you
Okay.
would just so
I wanted to make
happen,
sure I was understanding it. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. And you just so happen to be the genuine person. But we know that that authentication factor could have been usurped, circumvented with a false identification with a non-genuine holder. You see what I'm saying? And it would have appeared to pass authenticity. That's why the whole campaign about being authentic is really it promotes the values, but it allows for the wolves in sheep's clothing. Because you can pass authenticity and not be authentic.
And not be genuine. You can be
Yes.
authentic, but not be genuine.
Yes.
Interesting.
Trish.
I love it. This is good. I have to, if you want to do another segment on this, I'd love it and dig in.
Yeah, let's
There's
go.
some
But
other things.
give me thoughts on it. We got
Well,
about 5 minutes
yeah,
left. You
I
got
mean,
time.
where I guess what and now after having this conversation, it just confirms to me the importance of demonstrating actions, and talking more about what authenticity looks like in our actions, like you said, and what to be genuine looks like too. That's going to get us there, because look
Yes.
at how confusing this can be for people that have no idea. They are just not aware, and they can be hoodwinked.
Yeah, because everybody running around talking about, I'm the realist. The realist what?
Right. Well, if a lion has to tell you he's a lion, is he a lion? Right? We've talked about that. I mean, does a lion doesn't need to tell, a person doesn't need to tell anybody who they are. I saw this, I'll close on this. I saw this great meme, and I have it in my phone, that says there is no such thing as an enlightened person. There are only enlightened activities. What you do is what makes you what you are, not your title, not what you say. If you have to say it, what's up with that? Why do you gotta, we think this protests too much, kind of thing. So
Totally agree. I like this conversation. I think for those that made it this far, they will have been moved. And the real value of what we covered today, the indifference, which was maybe discovered for the first time for some of you that know the law of attraction, is you have to be careful what you're asking for. So if you want to ask for things to be authentic, you got to realize there's a good chance it may not be genuine.
and it
But
goes back to the devil's in the details. Pay attention to the details. And
yes,
that's when you put the wish out there, give the details, so you don't get just whatever comes along with your wish.
yes,
That makes sense.
yeah, make a wish, but
Make a
make it the
wish,
one you want.
but put in the details, what it looks like, so you can taste it, you can feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trish, this is amazing. I appreciate you today. We're gonna go ahead and close
Ditto.
out. Say bye to the people.
Bye, folks. Thank you so much for listening.
Pasha Pyro, YS7. Thank you for tuning. Enjoy.